Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Today we have a great topic with a wonderful, wonderful guest. The topic is cultivating an attitude of gratitude. And I don't know about many of you listeners, but some days that can be really hard. And today, Hannah and I, when we were going through this, we couldn't think of anybody better than our own Julie Adams. She is our new nurse manager. She's been with us since February 18th. So she was actually here a month before COVID hit. And she practices an attitude of gratitude in all things. And we're learning from her. So Julie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, other than you practice an attitude of gratitude?
Well, I would say on a professional note, I have been in healthcare since 1988, longer than Hannah's been alive.
That's true.
It was a good year.
I've been an RN since, maybe almost 21 years. Most of that.
I've been alive longer than that.
Yeah, exactly. Thank goodness. I would say the majority of my profession in nursing has been in hospice. However, been with AMC for almost 6 months now. I am currently launching 2 adult children into the world, which actually has been more difficult than COVID. So there's definitely an attitude of gratitude right there. I am recently remarried to a wonderful man, Jeff. Another wonderful reminder of what I'm grateful for. And yeah, that's about it.
I love that. And one thing, I don't know if our listeners did the math or not, but Julie has been the nurse manager in COVID longer than the nurse manager not in COVID. And so she's just stepped into this role and has brought so much joy to our team, much needed during this time of just uncertainty and craziness and all that's going on. So Julie, you told us how long you've been with AMC. What does your job look like as the nurse manager?
Well, it started off, I would say, just hitting the ground running as far as just learning about a pregnancy clinic and just all of the challenges, wrapping my brain around that. And then about a month later, COVID hit. So still just kind of soaking it all in. This is all just such new territory. And just trying to navigate through this new way of what a clinic looks like now in the midst of a pandemic. And I've just been so fortunate to surround myself with people who are also going through something so unprecedented. However, they at least bring that wealth of knowledge of a pregnancy clinic. So it's kind of iron sharpening iron. So I couldn't be more grateful. I would say the easiest part is who I've surrounded myself with. This body of Christ has just been incredible, but still some challenges every day, sometimes every hour of every day on what AMC looks like in the midst of COVID.
Yeah, totally different than the job description that you had originally signed up for.
Well, in a sense, totally, yes.
Not totally, but there's a lot added on.
But yes. Exactly. The blessing of this, and you heard her say, or somebody said, that she came from hospice, which is obviously the other side of life versus the birth part. So her management background was just perfect for this job, and to be able to manage in a crisis, in a pandemic, or during normal times, she has the skills, and then that compassion skill set. As life affirming, hospice is on the other side, but it's filled with compassion. So she came with both those components And God knew what, she could be Queen Esther for such a time as this.
So true. Julie, what would you say is like your favorite part of the job right now?
Oh gosh. Well, all of my medical career has been in the secular realm. So to me, just to be working in an area of ministry there's just been so much freedom in that. As much as I always want to be a light for the Lord in the secular area of medicine, there's always those areas where you've got to watch what you say and how you are in the midst of others. So now it's just so fun and freeing for the Lord to just allow me to use the gifts that He's blessed me with, and just kind of run with it. And boy, does it make my job a lot easier knowing that He's just giving me those tools each and every day, and aligning me with people who just love this ministry and are so gifted in doing this work. So I'd say it's the relationships that I have with not only the clients that we serve, but most importantly, just who is, who I'm working alongside here at the clinic. I mean, it's humbling. Every day I can't believe I'm doing the work that I'm doing. God's just been so gracious.
I love that. And I don't know if Tammy and I have talked about this before on the podcast, but just the relationship among the team is something that's so special and so unique and so unlike anything I've ever seen or heard of from any of my friends or family members or anyone before. It's so cool.
Yes.
But as we are kind of diving into the topic, as Tammy and I were going through potential topics for this season, it felt kind of weird to do gratitude over summer because it's normally something we talk about during Thanksgiving in the month of November. I don't know why we limit it to that, but we do. So it felt kind of weird.
We should.
No, but we shouldn't. Yeah, totally. So we're not going to. And it's something.
Gratitude in July, just like Christmas in July.
There you go. That it's something that I think is so important for this season for us to practice and to make a habit. So Julie, why is it important to cultivate that attitude of gratitude right now?
Well, I think gratitude reminds us of just how special and beautiful and fortunate our lives really are, even under these stressful times that we're in. I think gratitude is, I hate to say the word contagious, but it is so true. I think it just keeps us grounded and mindful of just those tender mercies each and every day that God gives us, that we have so many things that He puts in front of us each and every day to just to be mindful of how grateful we are for the littlest things, whether it's just another day of life or looking outside ourselves and just having that attitude of gratitude towards people who, even during this time, just are in challenging positions in healthcare or first responders. I mean, it allows us to remain humble, and I think that's
That's a great point.
We live in a world that's just us, where there's just such a me culture, and just this sense of it that I think we've kind of lost our compass in just truly being grateful for life, the things that we just can so easily forget.
Yeah.
That's a great thing, because with gratitude absolutely comes humility versus I deserve these things, rights, and having our rights and deserving of all different things. Life's not fair. I was telling my kids, fair is what you pay a taxi cab driver or something like that. Life is not fair, and choose the attitude of gratitude. Choose joy. It's a constant reframing of the subject of whatever the subject is, the issue at hand.
Yes.
And earlier we were talking about this too, that gratitude takes the focus off of us.
Yes.
And helps us focus on others and focus outward, which is so awesome. And all of this can sound great and dandy and awesome, but in reality, it's really hard to do this, to really focus on what we're grateful for and cultivate that attitude. Julie, can you speak a little bit into why it's so hard to do that sometimes?
Yeah, I think we naturally tend to focus on the things that we're lacking in our lives. I mean, that's just, unfortunately, that's just a flaw in us. And it's just that sin nature that we're wanting to compare ourselves to others. And we can really get caught up and almost kind of paralyzed and in that. And so sometimes it's hard. It's hard to cultivate that in ourselves. So if we're having struggles, and like you said, that inward focus, then how are we cultivating that and trying to instill that in others? I think we can get so caught up in that. We just have this negativity, I think, just naturally in our brains to kind of always be drawn to that. And unless something like Tammy said, unless it's something that we really choose to do and practice to do, that can be a real roadblock.
It's a choice. It requires intentionality, because you're right. And I don't know what it is in us, but it's just so easy to think of all the things that went wrong, or all the things that could go wrong, or all of the things that aren't going our way. But it is an option to choose otherwise, and to choose to think about other things.
Yes.
The situation that we're in right now is kind of unique, just a little bit, with COVID and everything that's going on, and it brings its own unique set of challenges. Can you speak into some of the challenges that this season brings with cultivating an attitude of gratitude?
Absolutely. I mean, just turn on your phone, turn on the TV, turn on your computer, open the paper, listen to the radio. I mean, we have all of this, kind of doom and gloom and negativity coming at us 24/7. It's almost just like a bad movie playing 24/7. And so how do we then, in the midst of that negativity and all of this coming at us, take a stance and kind of, kind of rein in and reel in to what is truth? And I think that's oftentimes a dear coworker here of mine is always reminding me, who are you listening to? And it's so true, because the enemy would love to just, keep us in that, basically in that bondage, or that we were talking about earlier, just kind of paralyzed in so much negativity and feelings of hopelessness that, those challenges are real, and we face them each and every day. Some days easier than others, but it's definitely there.
And it's so easy too, because magazines, when we're online at the grocery store, our phone, if for me on my phone, I have news stories just like pop up automatically. I'm not even like subscribing to any that I know of. And Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, wherever you are, it's so hard to get away from it. And
Yes.
It requires, I love that she says that, who are you listening to? Because it really requires you to intentionally not look at all this stuff that's just coming in. And it requires you to intentionally look elsewhere and set your focus elsewhere and listen elsewhere.
That's right.
And that same person also talks about some of those thoughts, and the thinking is almost a violation, as you're choosing to think one way versus another, but it's you're actually being pulled to think in a negative manner. And so, my question would be, is there any benefit to cultivating an attitude of gratitude? I know earlier we spoke about just the physical mindset. I mean, I think about it, you can think about a situation, and if you think about the worst outcome, your whole presence, your whole countenance can go down. But if you
Mhm.
think the best possible outcome, and I'm not saying pie in the sky, rose-colored glasses, but the reality is on so many things we don't know. So have an attitude of gratitude for what is and what will be, and
Mhm.
you do. There is a benefit there. I think I always think of obviously the physical benefit, other than your great point of the contagious
Yeah.
benefit. You know, you'd rather be the one that lightens up the room than is like the Debbie Downer. Oh, here she comes. You know, you certainly don't want that.
Yeah.
So, is there any benefit?
No, I think gratitude, it promotes,
Sorry, I went off on that.
Wait, side note. We keep on talking about her, this mysterious coworker. I think we should bring her on at some point, Tammy. I think we need to.
need to. I think that's a must.
She's an imaginary friend we all have, and kidding.
Sorry, Julie. Go ahead. What are the benefits?
Well, gratitude, it promotes health. I mean, it promotes our spiritual health, our emotional health, and really most importantly, our physical health. I mean, if there's something we are thankful for, we share it, and it can be contagious. It can be infectious. I think there's many benefits to it, and I think it does promote overall wellness, on those pies that we always talk about, the physical, the intellectual, the emotional, the spiritual. I mean, that attitude of gratitude that just encompasses overall health. Absolutely. Yes.
And I think it's a situation where when you look for it, all of a sudden you're going to see it more and more. If you want to cultivate a spirit of negativity, well, before noon, everything is going to be wrong in your life. But if you look at it more positively and with a spirit of gratitude, it's like, oh, thank you for the sunshine. Oh, thank you for, whatever the case may be, it just keeps going. So,
like earlier, we were talking about the Winnie the Pooh characters.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
You want to be Eeyore, or who was the happy one? Tigger. There you go.
Tigger.
And you can decide which one you want to be.
Yeah. Or who is another one? Well, that's a whole other.
We could do a whole podcast episode about that.
Okay, how does someone cultivate an attitude of gratitude?
I would say it takes practice. I think it's a mindset. And if you kind of reset yourself every morning and you think of 3 things that you're grateful for, when you start your day, I really feel like that just, it resets you and it kind of kickstarts you into your day. And if you can, at the end of the day, think of 3 things that you're grateful for. And it could have been just that I didn't burn the chicken on the barbecue today. I mean, it's amazing.
No, seriously.
Just the things and how they multiply. And then it's just this mindset. But I think you tapped into that earlier, Tammy. It's a choice. And it's something you need to practice. And it's something that some days you're going to be swinging away at it and it's not going to feel like it's working. But I think it's like anything, practice. And all of a sudden it's a mindset. And then it's hard to switch gears out of it, which would be obviously a blessing. So it definitely is a choice though.
I had a professor tell me when we were talking about writing papers and this big paper that seemed like just monstrous and how are we going to do this? He was like, okay, you start with one word. And one word can get you to one sentence. And one sentence can get you to a paragraph, which can get you to a couple paragraphs, which can get you to a page, which can get you to another page. And then that gets you to your 30-page paper or whatnot. And it's these little steps, right, that change the outcome. So you think it's just, oh my gosh, my day is the worst, or, yesterday was terrible. Well, in the morning, if yesterday was awful, this morning you can say, okay, but here are these 3 things that are actually really going well. And you can
Yes.
Not
start
yesterday.
just by yesterday, yeah. And you can start that habit, but it's those small moments of intentionally choosing something else that will then make your attitude and your thoughts change, and it'll kind of be like your default.
Yes.
And for those listeners out there saying, okay, I 6 is way too much, or I can't do 3 in the morning and 3 at night. Do 3 throughout the day. Do 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 in the evening, just to start. But it's going to be like a snowball effect of that choosing to look at situations. And I think then you're also going to have success too of seeing outcomes like, wow, things are not as bad as they appeared.
Yes.
So
I love it.
yeah, practice.
Yeah.
What final little nugget would you leave for our listeners?
Well, I would say scripture that always comes to mind when I think of cultivating an attitude of gratitude is Philippians 4:8. And it's, sometimes we'll just kind of paraphrase it, or we'll shoot off part of it to a friend. But if you really sit and listen to these words, it's so true. And it finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And I think if we can just stay in that best practice that we talk about, just practice, and drawing towards those things and resting in those positivities, it really can be transformative. Yeah.
That's good. I like that. That's a really good verse, because each one of those things that you can focus on can bring you a spirit of gratitude.
Yes.
How can our listeners get in contact with you if they have any questions, or even if they wanted to run something by you? She's not like the gratitude whisperer, everybody, but she has just a great attitude that honestly, really, can change the situation. And I appreciate that. So
they can, I can always be reached at our info@amc-ca.com.
Okay, perfect. And okay, with this gratitude discussion, what is a recent challenge that you've overcome other than working at alternatives?
Well, I would say, and I think you can both attest to this, is definitely the challenge of overcoming our reopening, to just be bold and robust in our community, being, instilling wisdom in the decisions that we make, obviously heeding the advice and guidelines from leadership, but really just being bold and faithful to God's ministry here. But that would never, ever be, I couldn't even begin to overcome this challenge without the body of Christ in AMC and the people that I'm working shoulder to shoulder with. We just spur each other on, and this just would have never happened without the Lord leading us and guiding us. But most importantly, just our attitudes moving forward, keeping it as fun as possible, keeping it as light as possible, and just being joyful through the process. There's been days that we all are, really trying to put our full armor on, but just attitude of gratitude, I feel it from all of our folks here, on site, remotely. It's just it's beautiful work being done by men and women who just truly are honoring God and just want to serve Him humbly. And I can't imagine working anywhere else but AMC.
Well, that's good, because neither can we for you. What did you just say? There was something. Oh, when Julie was talking about light and making it fun. I want to make that clear on that what is done at AMC is really hard work at times. There's a life and death component that goes on here, and obviously, as a life affirming ministry, we want to all focus on the truth of life, and so not some days are not fun, but yet choosing joy in the midst of the journey, still feeling deeply, but surrendering to what is. And at that point, I think it's true. There's a lot of humility in that, because we're not in control of so many things. So that's a spirit of gratitude too, because we're not in control. So that's a great thing. But so thanks, Julie. You gave a lot of insight there, and I appreciate that. We thank you for being a part of us and for being here today, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, truly,
also for our listeners too, thank you for tuning in. And this is the first episode of season 3. Super exciting. And even though it's not November, we really hope you enjoyed this episode on gratitude, because I think with everything going on, it will really help you have a perspective shift in all of the things that you're facing right now. We would love to connect with you guys on social media. We are there and would love to see you there. On Instagram, we are Alternatives MC. And then on Facebook, we are just Alternatives Medical Clinic. We have a green and white logo, so you can find us there. Alrighty, we will talk to y'all soon.